I'd read the book, I'd seen the film. My original thoughts were, oh, why, to be honest. But then they sent me the script, and I think Rowan's really sort of done something quite new with it, though the essence of everything is pretty much the same, still there. So, and then I met Rowan. He wrote me a nice letter first, which was nice, and then I met him, and after meeting him I was pretty convinced I wanted to do it. I think Hal had it once when he was younger, but and he could blag it a bit, but he can't anymore. I think time's sort of catching up with him, and he's just a bit of a loser, really. And he's really losing at this point of of his life, and he hasn't even got the chat anymore. He hasn't even got the lines. Everything's all a bit exhausted, and he's very desperate, and I'd say he's quite alone, and I think he's kind of like ready. Yeah, he's probably ready to be put down, actually. He doesn't mean to kill Kite. He's not there to kill Kite. He's been given orders by Corleone. Something goes terribly wrong. Kite is killed by Fred, and that's a terrible thing, to kill someone, and Fred definitely isn't a killer. He's not. It's not in him. He's a lightweight, bit flashy, small-time criminal. Very small time, not very bright, never made much money. The history of I played him that he was from the Navy, but he never did much fighting. He was always in the prison. Do you know what I mean? He just wasn't ever really the real deal. There's something a bit pathetic about him, and which ultimately you become a bit sad. There's something quite sad about him, I think, and I think he's horrified by the killing of Kite, and just as much as that haunts Pinky, I think it would haunt someone like Fred. It don't sit well with him. He's not a killer. He kind of helps create Pinky, really, and Pinky, as I see it, is he's got that classic sort of, he's the birth of a psychotic. He's a psychotic, sick sort of individual, and any instant or some major it can turn that on. And of course the death of Kite, which was an accident, and then also Pinky's pursuing of Hale, and then obviously the famous scar comes from Fred, and the fact of that, Pinky ends up killing Fred Hale. That's then you go into another world. Then Pinky crosses over. I just really want to do my best for him, and I think that's it's not like I don't go. I'm not like, he's just really. You just want to go the whole 100% and further for him. He's really keen. His energy is really good. All that sort of stuff. He's bright. He's just. He kind of knows what he wants. But then, if you're offering up something a lot different, he hasn't boxed me in at all. I think he's been very clever about understanding me, how I kind of work, and how I feel, where I feel safe, and where I don't feel vulnerable. If I start to feel vulnerable in places like we all do, or a bit, he hasn't. He's really treated me well and intelligently, and he's very sensitive around me and around, as he is around all the people who have been on it. You know, we're all kind of individuals, and I think the director has to kind of tap into us as, you know, and I think he reads that really well. I think it makes sense. I think it makes perfect sense, and I think it's more current, because I think this, you know, there's a whole new generation going to come to this film, and I think that's what it's about. So when you set it, you don't set it back. You bring it forward, and you know the 60s mods, rockers, that whole thing, really cool, fashionable. You know, it's got all, you know, the music, the look, everything. You know, so it's the energy of that time is really, you know, really sort of what's the word? Quite seductive. You know, you can, and that's what that does at Brighton. You kind of get seduced by the early 60s period. It's all very, and it's very young, and it's all new, and kids had money and clothes. Everything was, you know, it was all like really happening, and it would have been a great time to be around. And I think, you know, people who watch a film of any sort around that sort of period always go, yeah, no, it's cool. Wow, I wish I'd been. You know, I wouldn't mind being. You know, you've got a lot going on. It was the birth of something, and I think that will be really important for this. Fred is short but sweet, and it's all really great. That whole journey is like a movie on its own, in a way. You've got a great beginning, middle, and an end. You've got a brilliant beginning. You've got a real sort of desperate sort of, you know, tense sort of middle, and you've got this fantastic end to a character. You know, I liked getting killed by Sam, by Pinky. That was pretty, because it was really hard work, and you felt like you were working. It was pretty exhausting, and pretty intense, and we had to do a lot of fighting. And he's big. Sam's a big. he's a big man. But I took it. Don't touch me. But and definitely working with John upstairs, big deal. And Helen, nice scene. And I enjoyed I enjoyed all the stuff on the pier, because it's just brilliant when you're, you know, it was like 100 sort of supporting artists or whatever, and everyone's dressed up, and you're on, you know, it's a lovely Sunday with, you know, the sun is shining, and then you're out on, you know, Brighton Pier, and yeah, no, just fantastic. That was like, wow, that's like magic. That is, you're like, you know, it's like a bit of time travel, and you can have a bit of fun with all that.